Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. This has to work. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. How are you doing, friends? Oops, two L's. I'm going to drop something into the chat. Hello, Jerry. You're the first one here again. How do you like that? You're always, man, you're good. You are good. Very quick. So I'm gonna get some music rolling here. All right, and away we go. We're on it again, number 69. Can you believe it? In the Full Disclosure series on the Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarity. And well, we've got 2 people watching and 4 likes. I'm going to make that 5. If you're watching even after, give that thumb a little bump there. And I got the number 5. What number will you get? Because that's your number. And sharing this on out to my Facebook friends. And I got some news for you, folks. It's not such good news. Well, I guess it's a mixed bag. A mixed bag. So we'll get into that in a little second here. I get that rolling over there in Facebook land. I had a little surprise today, folks. Let me get this on out to my other little page, and then we can get into what happened today. Something some of my Facebook friends might know. You might know. Truth Quest. Okay. All righty then. And there it goes. It's shared on out. So let me get back to here. All righty then. All righty. Hello, Paul. How you doing? Enjoyed your contributions to the chat the other day, so thanks. So today, friends, I went on my YouTube channel, or actually my email, and lo and behold, I got an email from YouTube. Okay. And it's like, oh, what are they? Did I reach a milestone? Or what is this? They've banned, or they took one of my shows off of the platform. And I couldn't believe it. Well, you know, this is the first time they've done that. This is the very first time they've done that. And let's see here. It was my episode 15 of the Truth Quest. Episode 15. It was before I did any of my interviews. And it was on a topic that I guess the powers that be, or that are going to not be soon, don't like. And I'll share, luckily I did copy it over to Rumble. And there is this is the show the YouTube people do not want you to see, okay? I did it about, I don't know, a year ago or so, or maybe more. And, you know, it blows my mind. Let me read to you what it says. It says, all right. Before you appeal, please review the content to ensure that it abides by our community guidelines. which of course are they clear? I've never seen them delineated very clearly. And this is what they put. Harassment and cyberbullying, okay? Have I ever harassed anybody or cyberbullied anybody, folks? I think not, especially this episode. And you'll see if you watch it. So content glorifying or inciting acts of violence is not allowed on YouTube. Well, I totally agree with that. We review educational, documentary, artistic, and scientific content on a case-by-case basis. Limited exceptions are made for content with sufficient and appropriate context and where the purpose of posting is clear. I mean, okay, word salad people. The episode had to do with, well, maybe I'll just post it and you can read it yourself. I don't want to put this show in jeopardy by saying that. So I guess I'll put it up on the screen. I don't know if that's going to be, yeah, isn't that unreal? It has to do with something. It starts two words. It start with, first word starts with a C. The second word starts with a T. And it's something horrific that happens that shows like that try to bring awareness forth, but the censors, in their infinite unwisdom, they don't believe in freedom of speech. They don't believe that people doing very horrible things should ever be found out or caught, or heaven forbid, have to pay for their crimes against our most vulnerable, not adults, the other kind of humans. You think they'll censor me for that? It's just, it's, and the only reason, folks, I listened to that, I watched that whole episode today again, and it's really all about that. And the idea that any platform would be against this means they don't care about non-adults. By non-adults, I mean future adults. Do you know what I mean? You know, this is supposed to be America. It's not China. Hey, YouTube, this is not China. Go censor over in China. They love that stuff over there. We don't like it here. The only people who like it are the people breaking the laws and doing horrible things to future adults. So I'm just very upset. But I'm so mild-mannered. Well, you know, everybody's got multiple sides to them. Nobody is ever all just one thing. We're an amalgamation of lots of different things. But greetings from Knoxville, Austin Morris. Hello, Austin. How you doing? That's great. Yeah, you know, it's kind of a badge of honor, you know, over the market, over the target, and they're a little nervous. They don't want this out, but it's on Rumble. And I just shared it on out in the chat. Oh, who knows? Maybe they'll censor the chat. I hope not. Let's prove to the world, YouTube, that you can be good for the American market, because other platforms are moving in on your territory because you're not sticking to your original purpose. Okay? All right. Hello, Mr. Dennison. How are you doing? Yeah, so I was just beside myself today. And so they give you 7 days. Okay, they took it off. No one can see it on my channel, episode 15 of Truth Quest. I posted it there in the chat in my Rumble. You can still see it in my Rumble account. But they give you 7 days to appeal it, so I can see it in my workroom or dashboard or whatever they call it, and so you can appeal it. And so I'm thinking, okay, if I appeal it, will that like put me in another category? Oh, this guy's a complainer, let's delete more of his stuff. I don't know. I just don't quite know what to do. Any suggestions? What happened? I had a show of mine taken off my YouTube channel today by YouTube because they don't want you all to know how many future adults went missing in 2019, because I was quoting the actual numbers of missing future adults. I don't know if you can understand what a future adult is. Yeah, it's quite something else. They must be really nervous if they attack my little channel. So becoming more and more relevant every day, aren't we now? Yes, we certainly are. We're rocking and a rolling here, friends. It looks like Corey Good's graphic novel. They've got the sketch done for the page 113. It's going to 120. So the base sketch is done for page 113. So it should be done very soon. So you might want to get in on the early ordering if you're curious about it. So anyhow, okay, where are we? Here we are. All right, so I have some more pictures to show you. I hope you don't mind. Let me see here. Okay. All right, let's get that screen share going. Let's see. Screen share. Don't you love that screen share? All the kids are doing it. All right. Okay. We're going to take a look at the moon again, because the moon is a very mysterious place, even though we've been there numerous times. And look at this picture. Will you know? Why is that up there? Why is that up there? Okay. Hold on a second here. Friends. Yeah, there's a nice shot of the moon. A very nice shot. So interesting. I really wish they would have told us what they saw up there when they landed in 1969. Yes, tiny little souls need to be protected. Yes, they do. But when platforms keep censoring anything that highlights this, they eliminate it, which I just find so un-American. So, Rumble now has, you can live stream on Rumble. You can even do super chats on there. They call it something else. Oh, and I want to thank again, friend of the programs, Catherine Weiss, yesterday for her generous super chat. Hi, Kelly George. Mystic Dragon, hello. An older couple compliment you on your smile. Well, very good. You said you had the Invisimask on. Perfect. Oh, I love it. That is awesome, Mystic Dragon. You'd like to see what's on the dark side of the moon? There's a lot on the dark side of the moon. And I think I've showed this before too. Let me, before we get to that, but here's a very dramatic picture of the moon. Don't you think? Let me see. This thing always, okay, where are you? There you are. Move this down, all right? And this is lagging again. So many things going on here. Yeah, craters, more craters. Yeah, well, there's more than that. Look at this little undulating landscape of the moon. Very interesting, you know? I could just look at these things all day, you know? They're so fascinating. But again, this is a black and white picture. You know, it's not a true color picture. There are very few of those around. But yeah, part of that looks very, very interesting indeed, I gotta say. Very, very interesting. Like in that crater right ahead there, it looks like that very lit up area there. Looks like flat, something's flat there. I don't know if it's just sand. But hello, Mud Rabbit. Yeah, hard to find a flat place to put your vehicle down. That's right, Austin. Yeah, they almost ran out of fuel on Apollo 11, right? Well, you know, I brought this up before, but if you were watching the moon landing like I was, there was a terrifying 2 minutes or so that they lost contact right after they touched down, moments after they touched down. For 2 minutes, silence. And so everyone was wondering, did they crash? Are they alive? Are they, you know, what happened? You know, we were all freaking out. Oh, look, my shoulder is disappearing. Look, I took an invisibility pill earlier and it's starting to kick in. But yeah, so for 2 minutes, we didn't know. And it was like, I was really, really, really curious. It seemed very odd to me. At the time, I was just a young kid. Hi, Mud Rabbit. You were there too. Yeah, so now over the years, it leaked out that ham radio operators picked up the audio, because at that time, they were not scrambling their transmissions. And ham radio operators frequently would pick up space transmissions from astronauts in space. So we know what they said. We know what they said. We don't know what they saw, but we do now. We know what they saw because there was a witness there. Thankfully for us, there was an eyewitness in an underground surveillance room that was specially built and designed by William Tompkins. But there it is. Where is it? Find it. There it is. So hundreds of ham radio operators were able to hear the actual live uncensored audio feed between NASA and the astronauts. Okay, you can read it yourself, but NASA asked, "What's there?" Moments later, Apollo comes back with, "These babies are huge, sir. They're enormous. And oh my God, I'm telling you, there are other spacecraft out there lined up on the far side of the crater. They're on the moon watching us." Okay, so this is William Tompkins' sketch. Okay, here's the Earth right here. And here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 giant craft watching the rickety little lander land. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. And so thankfully now we have that missing puzzle piece of what was seen. This is what the astronauts saw. Now, I really truly believe that we would be living in a completely different world right now if this had been made public in 1969 when it happened, as it should have been. The NASA was publicly funded by taxpayer dollars. It's government by the people for the people. It's a civilian space program. We should have access to every single little thing they find out. I mean, we're the owners, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? If the government says it, don't believe it. That's right. Tony has it right. Could have been time traveling tourists from the future. I guess it could have been. But nonetheless, it was something, and it was kept from us, which at the time, me and millions of other people, maybe even like a billion people across the world, were watching and wondering what the heck happened. Yes, we paid for it. What happened? Well, now, we knew shortly after, because thank goodness for the ham radio operators, but then we were left with the conundrum, well, what did they look like? That's what they looked like. Unbelievable. This is front page news. The Jetsons were onto something, yeah. They do look very Jetsons-y, don't they? And no one ever asked William Tompkins this question, and I really wish that I could ask him this question. Maybe I'll have to go ask the astral project and talk to his spirit or something. But are these craft, do they belong to our secret space program? Or are they indeed alien spacecraft? Because at that time in 1969, I guess our secret space program didn't launch till the 1980s, at least the Solar Warden program. So we wouldn't have had big behemoths like that yet, I don't think. But you never know. You know, the Nazis were working on that for decades. So you never know. Secret US, Brit, Russian, Nazi, Germans on the moon base for decades. Yeah, that's what I've heard too. Yeah, I believe that, Austin. Frank Edwards in Deep Science, Follow the Saucers. Does Science Follow the Saucers? Suggested that the space program of the 50s and 60s was a result of the UFO visitation of the 40s. Yes, that's been verified by William Tompkins. They look like submarines. Oh yeah? They look like giant ships. I wonder how big they were. But, you know, they said, the astronauts, they're enormous. Of course, their little tin can was very small. So, yeah, these things do look rather large. It looks like you could hold some stuff in them, quite a bit of stuff. Kind of the Winnebago of the space, maybe. Do you know where that word Winnebago comes from? I didn't know this till I moved out here in Wisconsin. There's a Lake Winnebago up here. Isn't that something? You learn something every day. Yeah, isn't that something? Look at that. I mean, this, to me, this is huge. And thank goodness William Tompkins came forward, because now we have that other piece of the puzzle of what the heck those guys saw. Now we know the mystery has been solved, but I'm sure that the tapes are somewhere. I'm sure that film footage is somewhere. So, you know, we're talking full disclosure. We need to see that. Okay, we've got enough evidence now. You know, we're not going to freak out when you show us the footage. Show it to us. You know, put it out on pay-per-view and use the money to pay down our taxes or something. I don't know. Probably shuttle size, yeah, or bigger. I think they're probably twice or three times as big as a shuttle, probably. I don't know, just guessing. Who would have thought the NZs would be running DC in 2021? Yeah, well, I think they kind of took over when they shot Kennedy. I think that's what happened. And the moon is 238,900 miles from Earth, and the distance changes because it's on like a not an exactly circular orbit. But yeah, that's a long ways to hitchhike. So get out your helium-filled inner tube and your space helmet and float on up there and see if you can catch a, you know, maybe there's some kind of space stream like the Gulf Stream that can pick you up and take you somewhere. Thanks, Tony. Yeah, I know. It's just with the situation I'm in right now, I just can't do that. I can't do that. I need to upgrade my equipment here, and then I'll be able to do something like that. Gotta have a chat with Ford. Perfect. Earth to Mars, 245.61 million miles. It's even longer, a longer hitchhiking ride there. So, so yeah, the bad guys have been calling the shots since Kennedy was shot, I think. We've had a few bright spots since then. One of our more recent ones was one of the bright spots. You know, I'm in America talking about stuff in a country that's supposed to have free speech. And these platforms, to get that 230 exemption, they're supposed to not be censoring. My video clearly was not about cyberbullying or anything. There wasn't anything violent in it at all. It's just a heartfelt plea to get the word out and to save these future adults. Some of which won't make it to adulthood because of what's happening to them. And to think that they would take, of all of my videos, of all the things I cover, that they pick that one. That's just so telling. It's just they're showing their cards. It's just bizarre. So I would appreciate it if you share the heck out of that episode on my Rumble channel. And if I get enough people on Rumble, I'll definitely make a switch over there, but it's going to take a while. I'm on a shoestring here. So doing what I can with what I got. Yeah, I know that you have to pay something to stream on Rumble. So I'm not at the point where I can do that yet. So. Yeah, I agree with you, Tony. Hey, Rat X pulls through with a super chat. Thank you, my friend. And he says, thanks, Mud Rabbit. I did look more into the 1972 chess match with Bob Fischer, and it was historic because the Russians were #1 for 20 years till 1972. Wow. I saw something else about 1972 today, too. What the heck was it? Something about advertising. Can't remember what it was. I should have put it aside. I'll look that up, Rat, and I'll try to find it. So thank you for the super chat. That really helps. You know, it's going to help me move over to the Rumble account. I think my Rumble account, I've made exactly 1 penny so far. So I got to be careful how I invest that. You know, I don't want to spend it all in one place. But yeah, not many people know about my Rumble channel. And I haven't been really promoting it because I haven't been able to put over my newer shows onto it because of my hardware issues and software. Well, hardware issues. Hardware issues. So what's coming, friends, is a better Truth Quest when I get streaming software and I can play videos without them being all choppy, and I'll have enough memory to put things over on other platforms and do all this other kind of stuff like that. Boris Spassky, yeah, that sounds familiar. You got me on Rumble? Awesome, Mud Rabbit. Awesome. All right. Also, you know, friends, I'm working on so many different things right now. I just want to show you this really quick sketch I did. Boris Vadanoff and Natasha Moose. Yeah, and Squirrel. Yeah, that's playing out for real now, isn't it? So I'm working on my own little graphic novel, friends, comic. And this is the bad guy that I'm working on. His name is Eric Thorne, and he's a bad dude. He's more bad than Corn Pop. Let me tell you. Corn Pop has nothing on this guy. This guy's bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. And here's some other little sketches of his face in different angles, what he might look like. But yeah, he's pretty scary. He's a very bad guy. And so he and the lead character were space cadets together in the Federation. And Eric Thorne was left for dead because we thought he was dead on the Battle of Phobos, of course, Mars's moon. And he wasn't dead. He was barely alive, brought back to life by a race of robots. They fixed him up with some robotics, and he's he looks like the good guy to me. Yeah, it's because ninjas wear black. Yeah. Let me see. I'll show you. Okay. I'll show you what the cover might look like. It's one of the options for the cover that I have right now, but we're a long ways from that, so don't quote me on it, but this is one of the ones that might very well use. Okay, and there it is. So you can see on this half is the good guy. That's me. And on this side is the bad guy. Okay, can you tell? Look, I mean, this guy's, he's got skulls on his belt. Okay, all right. This guy is bad to the bone, literally. And Timax is just a good guy, man. He's in chrome. He's gonna set the timeline straight, baby. So, and look how big that bad guy's fist is. He's a nasty bad guy. But yeah, that's the epic novel I'm working on. It's about a toy inventor, designer that accidentally stumbles upon time travel. And boy, it's got dinosaurs and spaceships and man, it's got everything. And it was almost made by Ridley Scott back in the big 90s, early 90s. It was almost picked up, came very close. So, well, that's okay. It's going to be a movie still. And this time, maybe I'll just do it myself. The comic first, right? So that's what we're working on. We're doing that. We're, you know, so let me see, where are we here? There we are. Yeah, that's what it's gonna have, Dennison. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, yeah, that's what that is. Yeah. But anyway, it's a great story. It was actually a dream I had, and it's epic. It's epic. It's epic. What can I say? And so that's that. All right. Screen share. Put another one here. Now, this is me as Max in the suit. That's the suit I built in one day. I'm building another one right now. I'm going to build multiple suits for the movie, for the line. Yeah, you don't mess around with Timax, man. He'll go back and forth through time, and you're not going to like it because he's going to be the good guy that stops the bad guy. Okay, and it's going to be very needed because the bad guy is very bad. The good guy is very good. It's the white hats and the black hats, basically. Chrome hats and the black hats. But yeah, Timax. So I'm working on that, you know, and it's let's see here. Okay, here is another shot of the suit, and I've shown this before, but here is a picture of the suit. Okay, and in this case, it has the shield for the jaw, because the jaw is normally exposed, but this has like a bulletproof shield, protects Max. And this is the logo. It's a T and an M, all in one. So that's Timax. But so I'm in a little bit of a conundrum, folks. I mean, I've got all these ideas, right? And it's like, which idea do you pursue first, right? Which idea do you pursue first? And so, oh, Rat X, another Super chat. Wow. I'll play the bad guy if you write it that he wants to trap everyone in the year 1972 forever. Oh, that's a hard one. I'll tell you what. If it works out, 1972 will be a critical part of the movie, okay? I can't promise you anything because the story's already written, but we can massage it a little bit to fit 72 in there, okay? And there's lots of things that happen in 72, so yeah. Yeah. So that's that. So, oh, I was gonna do this. So you're gonna play the bad guy. That's great. You know, my friend was gonna play the bad guy, but sadly he passed away. There we go. This is one of the possible pages of the comic as well. That's Timax. He went back in time and little dinosaurs kind of trying to bite him in the nose. So that's kind of sort of the look I'm going for, maybe a little bit more polished than that. That's where that's at so far. I've got a bunch of sketches and some drawings started and some digital color drawings started and whatnot. So it's going along pretty good, but I look at that graphic novel that my buddy Steve Cefalos putting together for Corey, and wow, what an awful lot of work that is. And they've been working on it for a long, long time. At first it was just him. Now he's got a couple people helping him. And usually it takes a whole crew, many people to do a comic book. Take a look at any comic book. Look at the front. You got the pencil sketches, which is very essential. You need a good penciler because that bases everything is based off the sketches. Then you got your inker that inks it in. Then you have your colorist that colors it. Then you have your letterer that letters it. Then you have the writer that writes it. So, you know, that's already 5 or 6 people right there. And some of them are teams of people. So it's not easy. It's not easy being cheesy, right? But then, friends, so here's my conundrum, and maybe you can all help me. Okay. All right. I think we're set now, folks. Let's see what the chat says. Oh, oh, Radex is, it's late here. I have to get going. Have a good night, all. Thank you, Radex, for the super chats. I really appreciate that. And we'll have to talk about your movie appearance in the possible movie. That would be a lot of fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do that. So good night. I hope you have a really good dream. Yeah, 13 watching. I shared it out to my Facebook pages. If you all can do that too, just take a moment and share this on out. Maybe we can get some more people looking at this and because with every view we get, every person watching it, it's another micro penny we can take from the YouTube people. Okay. Terry Hopper. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing that he's stumbled upon, this 1972-2020 connection. Very, very interesting. Hey, Terry, I saw your photographs, your pictures. Very cool. In your referee outfits. So, okay, so here's my conundrum, friends. Okay, I have the Max project, you know, the Time Warriors, Time Max project, which I just showed you. And I have another project that I'm working on. And I showed you a page from one of these books yesterday. And that is The Awesome Possum. I got one book completed, however, it's not published yet. And I have another one written, and I'm working on that. I just started to do that. But here's my problem. See, I got all these ideas. I don't know which one I should put my main focus on more, you know? So what do you all think? You think I should focus more on the graphic novel, the time traveling graphic novel, or should I work on the children's books and the love bugs? Because this is the Awesome Possum, okay? He's a really cool guy. He does all kinds of tricks. He's a really agile guy. He can do pretty much everything. But that's not what makes him so awesome and what makes his friends like him so much. It's how he treats them and how nice he is and his manners that makes him awesome. So if you think I should work on Timex, just write Time or Timex. And if you think I should work on the other ones, write AP or Awesome or the books, the kids' books. It could be shows too. It could be videos too. Very well, could be. And also, in addition to the Awesome Possum, I also have the 2 books and plus 2 books written, but more books to come. The other one is the love bugs. So these are little bugs with heart antennas. They kind of boing when they walk. And they live in Valentine Valley. And I'm working on some animation with these guys, and they're a lot of fun. And it's a nice, wholesome show for kids. It teaches them all kinds of moral lessons, and very, very fun. Oh, Smarties says graphic novel. Yeah, if it's anything like me, you'll have several projects going. Yes, I do. I just want to know, you know, Possum right now. Okay, Mystic Dragon says, in my humble opinion, Possum right now, kids need a boost of positivity. I can agree with that. Love bugs seem very commercial to me, sustainable. Yeah, I hope so too. You know, I would like them to be, you know, the Valentine product that you get something with the love bugs on it for your loved one, or you get the little Valentines to hand out to your little classmates, and there's the little love bug Valentines. I have lots of ideas for these love bugs, and when I taught daycare, I used the love bugs to teach lessons to the kids, and I did it with a magnetic storyboard. I'll show that to you sometime. But there's felt boards you can use, but I thought that was just too old-fashioned, so I took a thin sheet of plastic and a magnet behind it, and then the characters printed brightly, and then with a magnet attached to them, I could move them around, and they could be like they're flying and interacting with each other. The kids really liked it. Awful lot of space-themed novels out there nowadays. Yeah, I know. Right. Good point. Yeah, in reality, I'll probably end up, because if I work on one thing too much, I get burned out. So if I have a couple different projects to work on, that's what I do. Love bugs look better. Thanks, Smarties. Yeah, the love bugs. So I'll show you some more of the love bugs. And here is the famous love bug hug. Oh, it's a little bit pixelated. How's that? Is that a little bit better? That's a little bit pixelated. Let's find a better picture. But that's the love bugs. You know, I've kind of been drawing them for ages. And let's see. Here is one of the frames from one of the animations that I did with the love bugs of Buddy rocking out with his peanut guitar. So that's Buddy Lovebug rocking out. And then I actually made some of these love bugs. And here's kind of what they look like now. Here he has the old eyes. I redesigned the eyes on him. He's got the old-fashioned eyes, more like the early Disney eyes. But that's the love bug in a park that's also like a Civil War cemetery, and also a very large tree there, beautiful oak tree. And that's where I went to take this series of pictures with the love bugs. Beautiful setting, just lush, lots of greenery everywhere, big, gigantic tree. It must be hundreds and hundreds of years old. And about 4 or 5 Civil War headstones there. So it's a very, it's only 2 doors down from where I live. So that's what that is. So yeah, so now you got a little peek into some of the stuff I'm working on. I hope you like that. Oh, you gotta get some reading in tonight. Okay, okay, Tony. Good night. I'm glad that you came along. Would Disney call copyright infringement? No, I don't think they would. No, no. I just don't think that they would. They're different enough. Herbie the Love Bug was a 60s movie. Yes, this is Love Bug spelled L-U-V. That's how I get around that. And it's a Disney movie, yes. Herbie the Love Bug. Great movie, by the way. Wow, I'm completely disappearing sometimes. Interesting. Interdasting, right? So I still can't believe I was censored today. I mean, I guess I'm part of the club now, huh? Part of the club. Oh, remember yesterday I showed you the craft on the moon that was taken by Apollo 15 and Apollo 16. They took multiple pictures of this thing. I'll show it to you one more time here really quickly. And let's see, where is it? There's so much stuff on here. All righty, Aphrodite. All righty then. So now I wait until a picture comes up. There it is. So that's the derelict spacecraft on the far side of the moon that William Rutledge and his crew saw or went to go investigate in Apollo 20. So there it is. Am I there yet? No, not there yet. Okay. But yeah, that's something else, isn't it? It will, I mean, so this thing is huge. It's 3.5 miles long, and you can't really appreciate the size of it very well. But what someone did, someone took the images of this craft that were actually from the William Rutledge footage, supposedly of Apollo 20, where they actually went to the moon and photographed and explored this craft and the crafts near it. But it's so tall, it's so big, you know, could they even get in it? And to get an idea of the scale, I have to show you this picture now. And someone took that image from that footage that Rutledge took and photoshopped it into several different cities. They took New York and I think like Toronto and Seattle or something, and put them all together, and that's how big it is. It's incredibly big. Incredibly big. As you can see the Eiffel Tower there, the Queen Elizabeth. So if you know, we're landing in a little lander, and they're going to be in Apollo 20 in 1976 when this supposedly happened. How are they going to climb up that thing? You know, you really wouldn't be able to. I mean, think about it. It's unfathomable, you know? How would they do that? How would they do it? What is that? There it is. Yeah. So, and look, so here's the Twin Towers right here. So this is New York. And here's another city that they threw in there because New York wasn't quite big enough to put this whole thing in there. Isn't that incredible? And here's the Queen Elizabeth here. And here's the Eiffel Tower. I mean, unless there's a hatch near the ground, you could get into it. But, and then how much of it you're going to be able to explore on a limited NASA mission, you know, even though it was secret. So that's, but you see how clear this image is? This is taken right from the footage from Rutledge's home movie camera that he took while he was on the trip. It's his own personal footage. I don't know how he ended up with it. Maybe that was the deal. Since it was secret, he got to keep it, but he had to keep it from anybody. Maybe he heisted it. Maybe he didn't let him know he had it. I don't know. But he was super pissed when everyone who walked on the moon was invited to the White House and he was not invited. It looks like a giant pen. Yeah, it sure does, Mud Rabbit. Hey, Syllabore, how you doing? Glad to see you here. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know how those astronauts are going to climb up, how they did that, or if they even did. I mean, so just think about it, folks. This thing is on the far side of the moon. Look how huge it is. It's been sitting up there millions or perhaps billions of years, just sitting up there. I mean, if they would make this public, they could go up there and film it, and they'd have many, many, many seasons of ancient aliens right there. I mean, hey, we're going back to the moon, far side of the moon. We're going to explore that derelict spacecraft again. We got through the first quarter of it in our first three seasons. Now we're going to go a little bit further, and we're coming into the cafeteria area, right? So, or one of the cafeteria areas. This thing is gigantic. Yeah, you know, maybe it's not a ship. Maybe it was some kind of like train, you know. Doesn't mean it has to be a ship. Maybe it was like a bullet train or something, or who knows what it was. But there it is. And what the heck is it? And that's why that's why we want full disclosure. This thing apparently was investigated in 1976. And, you know, we pay for all those NASA missions, even the secret ones. We need to know. This was 1976. I think enough time has passed. Yeah, I don't. It looks pretty much different than the Black Knight satellite, but maybe it's built by the same people. Who knows, right? Maybe just as old. Yeah, very interesting, folks. Oh, you know what? All right. We're going to stop that for a second. I just think that case is just phenomenal. So much to it. So much to it. So much to it, man. I want to also remind you, folks, too, that I have a merchandise shop. And here's Skinny Bob. And it looks like I'm going to have to go and drop that link-o-matic in the chat, Rooney again. And luckily I have it up here. Yeah, I can just recopy that. This should work. This should work, my friends. There it is, merch shop. That's Skinny Bob. Of course, Skinny Bob is a real alien, according to Bernie Mendez. I'll take his word for it. That's a verified, actually the first verified real alien by someone who actually knows the alien and the pictures of him. Now you can argue that J-Rod was, you know, known by Daniel Baresh, but he didn't have any photographs or no footage. So Skinny Bob wins that contest there. So there's that. And also, friends, I wanna, what the heck? There it is. Okay, I want to invite anybody to come and call in if you'd like. I think that'll do it. McAllister TV. I don't know what that is. There's the Zoom if you want to come and chit chat about disclosure or anything else that's happening, or censorship in America. Can you believe it? Speech for years now. Speech has been censored. People have been wrongfully censored. And just think about all those people who were censored for things that come out now in the mainstream media as true. Well, hello, it was true all along, and they knew it. They knew it. Yeah. Hey, CJ. Check out Linda on Black Knight. Yeah. I'm a little upset with her for what she did to David Wilcock. And I just think that that was uncalled for. Unity in the community. But when people do bad stuff, they need to be called out. But we do need unity in community. Oh, Linda Paris. I thought you meant the other Linda. I thought you meant Molten Howell. The Rockefeller-linked ufologist. If you're a ufologist and you're Rockefeller-linked, you're done. People are waking up to that kind of junk. So there's enough other people out there. If they're on MSNBC or something like that, you know, they're not the real deal. They're controlled gatekeepers. So, yeah. We need to support the good ones and call out the ones that are, you know, not doing the right thing. Good day, CJ. G'day. You must be from down under. I heard the stars are like brighter down there. They're bigger. There's more of them. And it's different constellations. I think there's a couple of shared constellations, but most of them are different, right? How does Flat Earth explain that one? Different stars for one little country, but other stars for the rest of the flat planet? The Flat Earth just it makes me laugh. Yeah, Terry. Yeah, she does always seem a little off and a little persnickety. I think she did a lot of good work in the early years, but it's a new age. There's new people. Okay. Same with Greer, linked to Rockefeller. He was also an Epstein Island, allegedly. Yeah, and Andrew Basiago saw him in the 70s, and he was introduced. Hey, this is Stephen Greer. He's in the program here, and he's also gay, and he's looking for young men. So, number one, Greer is CIA. Oh, this is country doctor. Well, yeah, country doctor. Also CIA. And the fact that he doesn't admit that or even talk about it should cause concern. Now, don't get me wrong. He and Linda did great things for the movement, but times change. And, it's the controlled stuff that we just don't want anymore. We want full disclosure, not partial disclosure. We don't want to talk about Roswell for 50 years and then talk about the Tic Tac for 50 more years. We want it all. We want all the information now. Rip off the freaking Band-Aid. Excuse the lingo, schmingo. I guess I said freaking. I didn't really swear, but I don't like to talk like that. Great views down here. Yeah, for the stars. Yeah, there's like really super bright, big stars. Like, we don't have those up here. We have little dinky, little teeny ones. And when I lost my eyesight for a couple of years, in the middle of my vision, it was about the size of my fist at arm's length. So hold your arm out at arm's length, make a fist, and imagine that's a blind spot wherever you look. And you put it in front of someone's face, you can't see their face. You look at someone's face, you can't see their face. And I couldn't see stars. Maybe if I was down under, I could see those brighter stars, but I had to use my peripheral. Yeah, I know Greer hasn't practiced being a doctor in years, but he always talks about how he's just a country doctor. Oh yeah, I was an emergency room doctor. Well, yeah, but he was also CIA. Clowns in America. Criminals in action. Pick your meaning. They're all the same. Criminals in action. By the way, I'm very happy with my life, and I would never end my life. So if that happens, if suddenly you hear that I've committed suicide via 4 or 5 shots to the back of the head, you can know that it wasn't me, all right? It's probably because I called out the CIA today. Clowns in America, which also run this platform, which don't want people to know about episode 15, which you can still see on my Rumble channel. So look it up, Truth Quest on Rumble. Yeah. We just need to get these bad guys out. Come on, white hats. Let's get these bad guys out of here. I'm getting so sick of these people controlling everything. It's disgusting. These people are sick. Q wasn't kidding, man. These people are sick. Oh, Mud Rabbit, you worked with someone that had retinitis pigmentosa? Had the same problem. Mine was scotomas, which are a little like a water blister on your retina. But apparently my one has been there so long, it's permanent now. I have a permanent blind spot. Timex, yeah, that's the answer. Thanks, Mud Rabbit. CJ asks, Aaron, how do you think NASA Apollo 11 got through the Van Allen? They did, okay? They just did. It wasn't as bad as they thought, and they kind of went around it, all right? It's been answered so many times, and it's always brought up of people who think we didn't go to the moon. It's so funny. If you have a telescope, you can get your telescope out, and you can point it at the moon, and you can look at the spots where all the Apollo missions were, and you can find them. You can look at them. You can see them. The idea we didn't go to the moon is just, it's comical to me. I don't know how people could think that, you know? It's bizarre, but I do know how people can think that because we've been lied to about so many things. Why not this too? Well, but it's just not true. We did go there, okay? Get over it. We went, all right? We wouldn't be as advanced as we are now if we hadn't, okay? William Tompkins designed the computer checkout system that all 30,000+ of the subcontractors had to put their units through this computer checkout system to see if every part would work together perfectly. And they did that. And this one woman, you can find this, I can't remember her name, but this one woman wrote stacks and stacks and stacks of code, of punch paper code, hand done, to get to the moon and back. So we did it with punch cards and very rudimentary computers. And William Tompkins said that they had, when they were building this computer system, they had crashed wreckage parts to look at. They had the 4,000 people in the underground base working on propulsion systems and everything that they could access. They could access all the stuff that their spies brought back from Nazi Germany during the war, all the stuff that they learned, all the technologies they were developing. So they started working in the early 60s towards that goal, and they made it to the moon by 1969, which was miraculous feat because that's what John Kennedy said. By the end of this decade, he pronounced it decade because he's got an accent. And we don't do these things because they're easy. We do them because they're hard. I love the way he talks. Great, great accent. Oh, you viewed Austin. You visited Cape Kennedy 2 weeks before Apollo 11 was launched. Wow, they toured the facility. Wow, you should have stowed away. Maybe you could have snuck on, right? Well, 2 weeks, you'd have to have a lot of Twinkies with you. I think they'd probably smell you after a while. And that closet smells like some guy eating Twinkies. Yeah. Interesting. Yes, Mark McCandlish, illustrator of the ARV, yes, got suicided. Now, he didn't actually see that ARV. It was described to him by someone who saw it. But the guy who saw it said that's exactly what it looked like. So yeah, this stuff should all be coming out. I mean, if you want the public to be happy and complacent, give us more of that, right? Yeah, I don't know, CJ, how come speaking from moon to Earth, 300,000+ miles, no delay or problems, but here with the internet and cell phones, lots of problems, just asking makes you think. Well, they could have maybe beamed the signal to, I know they had like a little dish. They could have just beamed it to each other. No, I don't know. And they obviously figured it out. But yeah, the Van Allen belt is they throw that out there just to, we went to the moon several times, and so did the Russians. Now the Russians, there's at least one crashed Russian craft on the far side of the moon. They tried landing. They kept that mission secret because just in case it was a failure, they didn't want to admit the failure. Well, they still haven't admitted the failure, but they did. That's why I think we should have an international team go back to the moon and bury the dead astronaut, the cosmonauts that are on the moon. They could do that, or bring the body back for proper burial on Earth, whatever the family wants. That should be done. That would be an honorable international moon mission to retrieve whatever bodies are strewn around up there. And also, I want to put in to clean up the moon. To clean up the moon from what we left there. And I don't mean the hardware. I'm talking about the bags and bags and bags. Yes, folks. 850 pounds estimated bags on the surface of the moon filled with astronaut droppings. Yes, waste. 850 pounds of waste on the moon. No wonder the Galactic Federation doesn't want us. Look what they bring with us and leave. We need to clean that up. We need to show ourselves good stewards of our nearest celestial body. It's very irresponsible. I mean, if I was an advanced alien race and they said, oh, look, they made it to the moon. Oh, what'd they leave for us? Oh, whew. Man, let's not let them in the club yet. They're not ready. No. Yeah. Okay, Austin Morris comes in with Van Allen belt is caused by the interaction between solar wind and the magnetic lines of force and the Earth's magnetic field. It varies depending on sunspot activity. Hey, Color Fab. Yeah, what the hell were they eating up there? Well, you can get it at some stores. They got that astronaut ice cream you can buy. It's room temperature ice cream. Yeah, they had packets of irradiated food that they ate. Astronaut food. I think you can actually get astronaut food. You buy food in tubes. Tubes. I guess they had problems with the toilets too, but we won't talk about that. Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know what? Maybe they should have been fasting when they went to the moon, right? Because then they wouldn't have to worry about all the waste. They just fasted, you know? What does the GF do about their sewage? The GF. Google, Facebook? I don't know what GF is. What does the GF do about their sewage? I'm not sure what that means. I'm not hip to the what those letters mean. Oh, the Timex and the Patriot Minuteman. Good idea. Yeah. Yeah, it's an epic story, I'm telling you. Spicy tonight? Oh. I'm disappearing too. If I disappear, say, oh yeah, we saw him. He was fading out that whole last episode. Yeah. Fading. Galactic Federation. Okay. What does Galactic Federation do with their sewage? You know what? I guess on some planets, some beings, they don't have to eat anything. Some planets, they get all their energy from whatever sunlight or radiation that the planet or sun or their surroundings give them. I do know that in the secret space program, maybe you don't want to be in a secret space program after you hear some of this stuff. But so when you're in the secret space program, you're in a 20 bag program, and you get thirsty, you can go to the beverage machine and you can, you know, pick a number of different beverages, much like we have here in a lot of different self-serve areas and cafeterias, like lemonade or some kind of soda or something. They had different options, okay? But no matter what you choose on that vessel in the secret space program, it's made, all liquids that you drink there are made from wastewater. Yes, pee. It's filtered and repurposed. So they don't have to, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it, but I don't think I'd be drinking a lot, you know? Maybe I'm not so thirsty now. Geez, I thought I was thirsty, but you know what? You know, my body's turning to dust, but I'm just not that thirsty. I don't know. I don't know, man. If that's what they do for the liquid, where are they getting the food from? I'm not hungry anymore. Gee, I think I'll just fast for my whole 20 and back. For a whole 20 years, I'm just gonna fast, okay? I'm not gonna eat or drink anything. I'm just gonna like exist. I'll get all my moisture from the air. I'll get all my nutrients from breathing, like the breatharians. Don't do that, okay? That's not really right. Unless you're staring at the sun, but you have to do it in the extreme morning or at night when it's lower in the sky and only for a couple seconds at a time. That's what I heard. This is not medical advice. But I should be the last person to tell people to look at the sun because I burned a hole in my retina, in my aiming eye. So there's a hole in my center of vision of my one eye, my left eye. That's my aiming eye. So I stared at the sun too long when I was a kid and it burned a hole in my retina. And my doctor said, okay, you're going to be prescribed to wear sunglasses whenever you go outside. So I said, really? I'm doctor ordered to wear sunglasses whenever I go outside? How cool. I'm going to wear sunglasses when I go outside. I was so excited about that. We went to the store and I got to pick a couple pairs of sunglasses out. I was a little kid. And I was so excited. Yes, these are my Elvis shades. You might be able to see there. Although you're most like you. Thank you very much. Thank you. But you know what? I can't see with these on. They're not corrective. So I have to put my other glasses on. See, I got to squint. Yeah. I might need those low vision devices pretty soon too, friends. Well, I know how he did it, Austin. One of the Apollo astronauts went the entire mission without having a bowel movement. I don't know how he did it. I'd probably be like that guy, you know? You know? Not even re-entry? Wow. Wow. Well, I guess that's a little less to clean up then, if that's the case. Oh, I saw something today. I should have grabbed a picture of it, but maybe you've seen it. It was on my Facebook feed. There's a company, I can't remember which aerospace company it is, but they're proposing this balloon to go in space with. A balloon! Yeah, he'd be sipping a glass of champagne. Yeah, sipping a glass of champagne in a balloon when a micrometeorite hits it. Yeah, that's going to be really fun. The thing's going to go like, when you pop a balloon, it goes, it's going to squiggle off. You're going to end up on the moon in an empty sack of balloon. What's even funnier is it's in the shape of a UFO, sort of. It's kind of like it goes down like a top, kind of like almost like a UFO, and it's a balloon. Imagine that. Imagine that. Will ya? Not me. I'm not going up in a balloon. When you have micrometeorites flying around, you have bolts flying around. They have so much space junk up there. That's what they need to do, is go up there with a net, some kind of thing to chase all these bolts, pick them all up. And because whenever we send something into space, they have to track every single little thing. Oh, there's a bolt coming at 17,000 miles an hour. Watch out for that bolt. Okay, we got to calibrate. Okay, we missed it. There's another one coming. Oh my gosh. It's a constant. Maybe that's all done automatically. Bart's Comet? A side-by-side picture of Aaron and the time-traveling hipster you need. Time-traveling hipster. Oh, you mean the guy with that weird sweater? I don't think he was from a different time. I don't think. The only time travel story I really tend to believe is Andrew's, because he's got so much evidence and so many witnesses, Kind of hard to Jules Verne space travel, yeah. Oh, Jules Verne? Okay, Off on a Comet, aka Hector Servadak, by Jules Verne, had space travel by balloon in the final chapter. Yeah, but I mean, does anybody else? That's interesting. That's probably where they got the idea. But what about micrometeorites? What about these little things whipping around that we put up there? There's like thousands of bolts and little pieces of metal and like some astronauts doing a spacewalk, and he's got a wrench. It's like, whoa, the wrench goes. He can't go get it because they don't have that much, It's crazy. Oh, it'll eventually go down and hit the Earth. Well, yeah, in 1,000 years. And meanwhile, we have to track it every single time. And if, whoever puts this balloon up there, I don't know. I just think that safety is kind of like a good thing for space travel. Here's another love bug hug on my love bug mug. Yeah, the love bugs. Aaron is the time traveling hipster. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because I got the time machine right here. And, I couldn't go and get estimate on mailing it today because the post office wasn't open. Tomorrow, I'm going to go and see how much it's going to cost me to mail one of these things to Florida and California and figure out what the pricing is going to be for shipping. Yeah, and then we'll get that thing rolling. And you guys can time travel with me. We'll all do it together. Meet you in the future. I'll meet you in the future. Actually, that's the only place we can meet is in the future. Think about it. Oh, actually, the present and the future. Right? A time-traveling hipster. Hipster, yeah. Okay, I have a hip. That makes me hip, right? Yeah. Did you like those Elvis shades? Yeah. There we go. It's something else, friends. All right. Oh. Here's something for every time traveling hipster. Right? What is it? It's a horse, of course. It's a space horse, right? And where is it? Are we going to find it amongst all this? Remains to be seen. Oh, you'd think I'd see it by now, huh? Well, I guess I got to go over here. Yeah, there it is. Anti-gravity horse. Now, I drew that years ago. Oh, you can calculate the rates on ups.com. I don't have a scale. I don't have a scale. So I don't know how much things weigh. Oh my goodness, you'll never guess who this is. Hello, Max?
Yes.
It's Maxwell Smart, folks. Let me turn the music. I'm doing great. If I was doing any better, I'd be you. Okay, I'm going to turn this music down. Uh-oh, we're hearing some sound there.
Yeah, I hear something.
Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good.
It's kind of like you're stretching the sound frequency, just like.
I wasn't doing anything, dude. We've got a very bad connection. We've got a bad connection. I'm going to try calling you back, okay? I'll call you back.
Okay. Very good.
Oh, folks, wasn't that odd? Did you hear that? My goodness. I thought it sounded not mechanical to me. I'm not going to say anything. Okay, we're dialing him back again. This is Maxwell Smart. And let's see. Hello?
Yes.
Hey, he's there. Yay.
Yeah, it sounds much louder.
Yeah. Wow, something was weird with that, huh?
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's a deep state.
Yeah. What's the topic at the moment?
Well, we're talking about a anti-gravity horse that I drew.
Anti-gravity horse. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, for the modern space cowboy. Trot on over to your favorite spot or take your passenger to the moon. Space gear not included. So it's a robotic horse. Actually, I drew it when I worked at Hasbro. I just wanted to draw it. I mean,
isn't an anti-gravity horse a little tough to clean up after?
No, they have no droppings. So you just have to oil them and feed them their anti-gravity hay, and they're just fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's a robotic horse that can fly.
Does it have just a diaper or something?
No, it doesn't do any droppings.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the anti-gravity horse. We're talking about that. We're talking about the moon, the Van Allen belt, and Austin was telling us about how the Van Allen belt depends on the solar wind and how rough it is. So the idea that we can never get through it is a misnomer. It's what the bad people do to try and create arguments. I'm not saying everybody who thinks that's bad. I'm just saying that the people who start that are the ones who are bad.
Sounds kind of like a smart dude.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what's new with you, Max?
Oh, not too much. I ate a little too much, so a little too full.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was going to be too tired to call in, but I decided, well, I'll call in anyway.
Okay. Well, glad you did.
And I didn't know. I didn't know how long ago you got on here, but
A couple hours, I guess.
uh,
Yeah. We've been at it for a while here. I got in a little bit early today. I think about 9:30 or so. Started Central Time. It's 11:12 here now. But
got a good crowd.
we got 12 people watching. A dozen. So that's why, you know. Oh, it looks like a stainless steel horse statue that graces the cover of the first Montauk book. Preston Nichols and Peter Moon.
Oh yeah. I heard that.
That reminds me of something else I wanted to show you all. And where did I put it? Oh, I know where it is. It's here. I was looking through my stuff today and I found something. And look at this. This is Open Minds magazine. This is from 2011. Okay. And I remember when this magazine first came out, it's got, you know, Alexander Rojas, what's his name? Alejandro Rojas, Antonio Hanias, Michael Sherratt, and Jason McClellan. And, you know, it's Open Minds. They have a lot of stuff in here. Greys, reptilians, Nordics, and other alien races visiting Earth.
Oh.
Dogfight over Tehran, UFOs in art and history. It goes over lots of very interesting topics. And here's this curious case. Now, I think it's in Portugal, right? That thing, it was filmed offshore. It was above the water, and it was a strange craft, and they even saw little creatures inside it. That's an interesting case. But yeah, it's a great magazine. But you know, we got the internet now. This was 2011. Here's some UFOs in art, and they cover all the major ones here. You know.
What was the name of that really awesome sci-fi magazine that came on? I'm gonna guess.
Omni.
That was a cool magazine.
That had science fiction and science fact. That was my favorite magazine. I subscribed to that for years, and I still have, I think, all of them somewhere in my stuff here. But yeah, Omni was a great magazine. They had great artwork.
Yeah, that's cool.
In fact, there was a kid I went to school with. What's his name? Haggard. And he's an artist, and he's a really good artist. And I always thought, wow, I bet he's going to get his art on the cover of Omni. That's the kind of stuff he did.
Wow.
Derek Hager. He teaches art at I think an elementary school or high school out in Minnesota. Very talented drummer and artist. But yeah.
I used to buy all kinds of magazines back in those times. I can't remember when Omni came out, but
in the 80s, I think. In the 80s.
80s, yeah.
70s or 80s, yeah. Late 70s.
I remember coming across this magazine one time called Nature. It's kind of a famous publication.
Mm-hmm.
You could actually buy it at one of the bookstores. And
sure.
I remember one time picking it out and deciding to buy it because there was an article in there about how it was possible to store antimatter between lithium atoms. And I thought that was pretty interesting, you know, in light of what Star Trek teaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dilithium crystals.
Right.
The whole idea that you could store. This is real life talking about storing antimatter in between the lithium atoms. So that's kind of neat.
Wow.
Some awesome things you find once in a while, little gem things you find. Like, that you didn't expect to find. And
Right.
so there was, I remember even back then I was trying to find, I was very fascinated with mathematical relationships, and and I wasn't quite sure why. It was just, I had a feeling that something was there that I was supposed to find.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I was always looking at what's the name of that theory related to the golden ratio, and
Fibonacci.
Fibonacci. I just recently was doing some of my mathematics on the Fibonacci number, and noticed that the more you do it, the farther you run out the Fibonacci number, calculate it,
Mm-hmm.
and then convert it to its base energy.
Yeah.
Then it becomes non-random. And that means if it becomes non-random, there's probably another way of predicting those numbers. I don't know. It was interesting. I don't know what to quite make of it, but and then I spotted, if you've seen a Mandelbrot set, the fractals.
Yeah.
I discovered that if you changed, I can't remember to make the Mandelbrot set. I think if you have an iteration number that's K, then I think to make the Mandelbrot set, you to calculate the next one, you did K squared plus 1, I think.
Okay.
And of course that makes the pattern if you do enough iterations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I discovered that if you change it to K squared minus 1, I think it was, you actually generated the Fibonacci series.
Wow.
And I started thinking about that, and I'm thinking, wow, if this was the underlying mathematics of our universe, or something like it, you get this fractal pattern, but the fractal pattern would have built into it the golden ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started making me thinking about, okay, something like that must be going on, because that might be why we have these patterns in nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's built into the so-called Higgs field, right? And
Yeah, the template for life.
so it's automatically going to develop these patterns.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at just take the Mandelbrot set, if you look at the iterations, there's these big places where it seems to be circling around something. And if you consider that, if you've seen a map of simulations of what the actual universe looks like,
Yeah.
they show that our galaxies do something similar. It looks a lot like the Mandelbrot set.
Wow.
I can't remember where you can find that image. Maybe someone out there has seen it before and can grab it and put it up. But it's pretty fascinating. It does actually look like the Mandelbrot set.
Wow.
And then it begs the question, if all these galaxies are circulating around these areas, is that what they're talking about when they talk about dark matter? What if it's just in the mathematics?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what they seem to be attracted to is not actually gravity in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
It might just be the mathematics of the universe. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but
yeah,
it seems like these whole galaxies are attracted to something, so because they're spiraling around it, right?
Right.
And so our way of thinking, right? If matter of these galaxies is spiraling around it, it must be something supermassive there, right? But hidden.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's not hidden? That's just part of the mathematics of the universe.
Well, I thought it was the black hole. There's a black hole in the center of the galaxy, of galaxies, and that's what sucks everything in, right?
Right. Well, it certainly looks like a black hole. That's my point. You know, a black hole large enough to suck a whole many, many millions of galaxies around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it had to be something which is hard for us to even imagine, right?
Mm-hmm.
The size of such a thing.
Right.
But yet, in the mathematics of the Mandelbrot set, it's just in the mathematics. There's nothing actually there. They call it a strange attractor,
Mm-hmm.
mathematically, because it looks like there's something there, but there isn't. What if our scientists are seeing things like that in the structure of our universe and saying, "Aha, there must be this huge amount of dark matter there."
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe there's nothing there. Maybe that's part of the mathematics.
Maybe.
That's all. That's kind of all I'm throwing out there.
Interesting.
Anyway, I was contemplating how things might be laid out, and another thing that I liked about the whole Mandelbrot set idea, as far as how our universe is laid out,
Mm-hmm.
it's got iterations. So there's discrete. What if those little iterations are like quantized elements of time?
Mm.
So and these things are occurring on top of one another. So it's like the universe gets bigger because the things that are on top of each other are bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so it looks like it's expanding outward when it's really staying in one place and getting bigger and bigger. And so I tried to think about the whole universe being like a giant particle, where the information is coming out of a black hole on one, like a giant donut shaped particle.
Interesting.
And on each end of the donut in the center, on one end you had a white hole of information coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of travels around the outside, and eventually, over time, at the end of the universe, it combines with like a giant black hole on the backside.
Mm. Interesting.
So,
now, Austin says Haynes Alfevin maintained that the universe is ordered by electromagnetic forces which play a greater role in the cosmos than gravity. I heard another theory about dark matter, or actually, I think I kind of postulated it myself because of stuff I heard. But so in the book Alien Interview, Errol, the astronaut, engineer, pilot of the craft at Roswell, tells Matilda that before anything ever existed, there were just immortal spiritual beings like our spirits.
mm-hmm.
And that they started creating these illusionary spaces. And if enough other, like a little planet or something, if enough other immortal spiritual beings saw it and agreed that it was real, it just became real and solidified. And this is how matter is brought about by these immortal spiritual beings using their concentration power to concentrate so hard on this place being there that other immortal spiritual beings say it's real, and it becomes so. Dark matter could be just these immortal spiritual beings creating new space.
Wow.
It would be completely undetected because they're non-universe entities and they're creators, and they created everything in the universe according to Errol.
Well, think about it. That's essentially what we're talking about. We are, if we're each part of God,
Mm-hmm.
we're like each one, like one cell in the mind of God, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're simultaneously creating the universe and exploring it. You know what? In the same thing, aren't we creating with our intention new things where there weren't any?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're converting the energy around us into new matter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a similar idea. And
Mm-hmm.
and what Austin said is kind of interesting because it's well known that gravity's a weak force out in the galaxy compared to the electromagnetic force.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So it does make sense that the electromagnetic force probably plays a bigger role out there in the galaxy than gravity does, because gravity is so weak.
Right. Yeah. So you have to be really close to it to be affected by it, really.
Right.
Terry Hopper says, postulated. It's the use of words like these that gets me coming back to watch Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty. Oh, that's nice, Terry. Thanks. Yeah, but I get a kick every time I talk to Andrew because he has all big words all the time too. You know, you always learn a few new words talking to Andrew.
Yeah, well, sometimes we use big words just so we can expand our vocabulary.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I use really big words like if, and but. Yeah. Very big words.
Well, obviously, sometimes we stumble over these big words.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when that happens, it's probably pretty funny,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to watch. You know, but science got a lot of those big words.
Yeah, they do. Yep. And ingredients too. Ingredients have the big words.
Oh yeah, boy. There's this really cool paper I saw out there about all the strange names that people have named these various chemical compounds.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just crazy names, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you wonder how they named some of them, but others named them because it looked like something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like there's something called cubane because it looks like this molecule looks like the structure of a cube.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's all kinds of strange, you know, names.
Yeah. You almost had a jellyfish named after you, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I actually didn't discover it. There's a gentleman I grew up with, and there was a lake close to where my hometown was, and he found freshwater jellyfish in there. I said,
oh,
says no, you could have found. Everybody knows jellyfish are live in the salt water, not in fresh water. I said, no, I'm telling the truth, man. They're there. I said, well, you know, if you can get them, if you can have some in the next couple of days, I'll believe you, because I know you couldn't have gone to the coast that quickly, you know?
Yeah.
So he went and got some. I said, okay, now you got my attention. He says, where the heck did you find these? He says, well, they're out in this lake. And I said, well, how could they be there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, dude, you know, I found them, you know? And I decided I didn't want to have anything associated with that because, you know, the genus name for, I think, jellyfish was schizoid.
Mm.
So I really didn't want to combine my last name with schizoid. I was a little sensitive back then, you know.
It would be a badge of honor nowadays.
Now the more I thought about it, I said I should have done it, but
yeah.
And then I found out there's all kinds of lakes in Ohio and Illinois and Indiana that they've actually found a whole bunch of
jellyfish
lakes with freshwater jellyfish. And they've been trying to figure how that would be possible. And they think that once upon a time that the Great Lakes were once saltwater.
Mm-hmm.
And there definitely was an ancient ocean in the middle of our country.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's a coral reef running across the Midwest that they've located where the glaciers kind of clipped off the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the honor of seeing it one time. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
But there's all kinds of interesting mysteries like that. Well, how did these jellyfish come to be? Well, they figure these lakes became landlocked, right? And that's cut off from the saltwater ocean, and slowly rainwater swapped out, got rid of the salt, diluted the salt, and that gave the what you call it, jellyfish time to slowly adapt to their surroundings, and they became freshwater jellyfish.
Wow.
There's all kinds of cool things. If anybody knows about that bridge out in West Virginia where people skydive off of, well, they're skydiving on a river called one of the oldest and largest rivers in the United States. It's called the River Taze. It's spelled Taeys.
Okay,
I got that. Yeah. Taey. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
And it was the largest river in in North America.
Wow.
And of course, it went all across from the East Coast all the way up through the Midwest and across and down through, I think, Illinois. Massive river at one time. Now, what put an end to it in like northern Indiana is the glacier. Well, Indiana didn't exist then, of course. The glacier pushed all kinds of rock down into the river and kind of blocked it off. And now, if you research it, you discover that now a lot of the river is underground. Still flows. That's interesting things. I saw a study once where they found a connection between it, a river in Indiana, underground river in Indiana, where they found a connection between that and Lake Michigan. Because Lake Michigan had some kind of a release into Lake Michigan, and it ended up showing up in the river. Wow. The underground river.
That's interesting.
So for a long time, they considered getting the water for a city from that underground river. And but when they discovered it might be directly connected with Lake Michigan, they thought, well, maybe not. Might be too much pollution. So it's cool things to consider.
Yeah. Go ahead.
There were friends of mine that like to study underground rivers, and they actually asked officials in the U.S. Geological Survey about underground rivers. Says, "Oh no, they don't exist." And he said, "What do you mean they don't exist? How the heck do you think Mammoth Cave got started?" So there's a river down at the bottom of it already. It's called the Green River. So so they came to the conclusion that these government bodies were trying to hide something and try to make people think there were no underground rivers for some reason.
Wow. I had the great pleasure of meeting the Smothers Brothers. Do you remember them?
Oh yeah.
Now, when I was
they have the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour or something?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And so I got to meet them. It was a great pleasure. And when I was a kid, we had this album. It was the Smothers Brothers Aesop's Fable album. And it was a fabulous album for a kid. I mean, it was funny as anything. But there was a little song in there that Tommy did about the jellyfish, and I gotta try and remember it so I can sing it for you, okay? It goes,
where are we? No, that's the wrong song.
I wish I was a jellyfish floating in the sea. If I were a jellyfish, I think I'd be strawberry. So that was it. Yeah.
Or a jamfish.
Those guys are still going strong. They're still touring. So if you get a chance, see the Smothers Brothers. They're fantastic.
I couldn't believe they announced the other day that ABBA was coming back.
Oh, thank goodness. We've been missing them.
After, they said, what, 39 years?
That's a pretty... Yeah. Well, they must be out of money now, huh?
For some reason, they're coming back.
Well, I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think the last video they did was a claymation video. It was very strange. But yeah, I always loved their music. I mean, Dancing Queen, that's a great song. They just had a sound that's unto themselves. Really, really unique.
I remember growing up, we got one of those things called a video disc player.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
so old that most people probably don't even know what I'm talking about.
I remember those, yeah.
And they didn't last very long, and then they finally got around to making DVD players. But of course, the video disc players were huge, like big records. And I had one of those. I still have it. And
they had extra stuff on those discs too. They had stuff that you couldn't get on the videos too.
Yeah.
They were trying to make people want them more, but yeah.
I still have it. I got to fix it. It needs a new laser. Now it'd be easy to repair. I'll bet there's a YouTube video out there exactly how to repair it.
Yeah. Say, I got a question for you about lasers. You know, lasers have been used in industry for a while now, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, answer this for me. Why in the heck isn't there a laser jigsaw puzzle or jigsaw? Because the problem with jigsaws is, you know, because you can move the thing you're cutting as you're cutting, but the blades are so thin they break. But if it was a laser beam, it wouldn't break.
Oh yeah, you can make those.
No one's making it. I mean,
yeah, they are. There's a company called Glowforge that has a laser cutter, and they show you how to make.
But not on a jigsaw.
Oh, not on a jigsaw. It's a laser they use.
So I'm talking about. So, you know what a jigsaw is, right?
It's just a little thin bladed saw, right?
Right. And
it's
you
like an
move
automated coping saw.
You move the wood around to cut,
right.
Like if you're cutting out a puzzle. That's why they call them jigsaw puzzles, because that's what they used. Well, those blades are notoriously brittle, and they break all the time because you turn it a little bit too much. Click, you got to put a new blade in.
Oh yeah.
But when they started to have laser cutters, I thought, oh, I can't wait till they get the laser jigsaw. I'd like to get that, because that's something you could do. You could cut things by hand then. But you'd have to have some kind of like a shield in front of the light.
So you don't get your finger off.
Yeah, so you don't get your finger off, and so you don't burn a hole in your eye too. But I think that there had to be some kind of like a mirror above. So maybe it's going up and then shooting back down, straight down. I don't know how you would, because you have to terminate it somehow, right? So if it's shooting up like a blade, you'd have to have something to kind of keep it from going too far up.
Oh yeah, well, that just has a absorbing surface. The laser cutter that the Glowforge has is pretty cool because you just feed it a drawing. So you have a drawing of the puzzle diagram, right? Of where all the cuts need to be, and then you have it. You align it on the screen with your material. You can see there. You can see where the material is. There's a camera that shows you material. You line it up with exactly how you want it, and you tell it, and it calculates how long it's going to take to cut it. And you tell how much power you want to use, so you can dial it in to get perfectly.
You were one of the first people to get one of those, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I was one of them. There's a whole bunch of people that got them like that, but then they put what they do is they put some things on top of the surface, so that it doesn't leave burn marks on the surface. So and you pull it off gently without pulling off your pattern.
Okay.
and that way you have a nice puzzle. Now, of course, another thing about you can make the puzzles out of wood or plexiglass or all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow.
People want to check those things out if they got the excess money to get one of these things. I don't know what they're going for nowadays, but you know, there are different versions of it. They have a basic model and they have a professional model, and they were talking about maybe coming up with some other things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a cool device. I love it.
Austin says James Bond was almost sawed in half by a laser jigsaw in Goldfinger. Well, I guess I didn't see that one.
I think Batman and Robin almost got that happened to him once.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about something that a crafter could get. You know, someone who wants to make like homemade jigsaw puzzles or something, or ornamentations or things. But they don't want to. Maybe they don't want to do it through the computer. They want to hands-on do it.
Right. Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
But I think it would be a good meld between modern technology and hands-on artistry.
Yeah, the only problem I think right now is the danger of the laser. The laser light itself is pretty dangerous to observe.
I bet you they could get it to the point where it's invisible.
Oh yeah, they could use different different types of beams and cutting tools, and probably have the right kind of like safety glasses you could wear that blocks the light, protects your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know? like welding. Yeah.
Actually, they could probably invent some kind of sonic beam.
Yeah.
That could do it.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of working on a water jet where it uses high pressure water shot in between through the hole of a ruby, because the ruby is very strong. So they drill a hole in a ruby, and that's what the water goes through. But you can also put sand in with the water, and what that does is it sands the edges, so there's no sharp edges.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and there's no slags, there's no melted. Since it's not hot, it's just water, and you can cut a 6-inch thick piece of metal with a water jet.
Well, water jet's the only thing that can cut certain materials easy, like, you know, the memory alloys, like are in what supposedly were in the Roswell craft.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's one out there that the Air Force officially discovered in Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Okay.
And it actually the patent was 1955. It's for nitinol, nickel titanium.
I love that stuff.
It stands for nitinol, stands for nickel titanium naval ordnance laboratory.
Right.
And but that's cool stuff. There's a lot of cool patents on that.
Shape memory metal. Yeah, you can mold it in one shape, and then when you put it in hot or cold water, it switches back to the other shape.
Yeah.
And
it snaps back. Yeah.
They've even made motors. You know, they have like a well of cold water, a well of hot water, and the circular thing just keeps going around and around and around because it's got nitinol for the spokes.
They've actually studied that very intensely, and when it snaps back, it produces enormous energies and forces, just like what we were talking about the other day.
Wow.
Like the sonoluminescence, how they could create the temperature of a star inside the center of a spherical flask.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they say huge pressures are achieved using when that thing snaps back. There's been a lot of studies about that.
I bet.
The problem is they're not out there where most people to read it. You gotta find it in a journal, you know, somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky one time to be on a campus away from home, and I learned there's a lecture going on about all the exotic properties of shaped metal alloys, and I decided to go listen to it. It was pretty cool. All the sonic properties of those materials.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm fascinated by new materials, trying to predict new properties of new materials, and I, of course, made a few compounds and materials that do strange things. I once made a compound that ran away. I think I talked about this one another time, where it was floating on the surface of water. And when I shined a light at it, it literally like propelled itself across the water away from me.
Wow.
And so I was kind of curious. So I took different kinds of light. I had a UV flashlight, and I shined at it. And of course, it still did the same thing. And the overhead lights did it too. It was cool trying to figure out what I was doing. I'm thinking, well, boy, you could make a little micro machine and figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
You have to do some kind of work, and
interesting.
I like thinking about inventions. I was thinking today about making, on eBay, you can buy these magnets that have they're donut shaped. And they got a positive on a north on one side and a south on the other. I was saying, well, boy, you could make a shock absorber out of that.
Sure. Yeah.
Just turn, the north and spaces together, right? And then you could put something up the middle that's not conductive, like a copper bolt or something. No, a copper bolt wouldn't work. Probably something other than copper. But anyway, you could use it as a shock absorber.
Sure you could.
All the cool things you could do with that. And you ever seen that video where they take a spherical magnet and put it down a copper tube?
Oh yeah, and it slows down.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, very fascinating. I have an invention of mine here that I want to show. That it's only this picture, it's not built yet, but I think it's a great idea. And if someone wants to do it, if they want to bankroll it, give me a small percentage, that's fine. But I think it would save lives. So if someone can do it, do it. Give me a little.
I've seen some extraordinary ideas over the years. People have some extraordinary ideas, and they often think, it's not that good an idea, and it's actually a great idea. So,
well, this idea would save lives, I believe. And the idea is to have a holographic projector or projectors fitted to a motorcycle, so that when it's on and when it's activated, it makes the motorcycle appear to be either a car or a truck or something bigger than what it is. So it's more visible to other drivers.
Right.
I think that'd be a great idea. I think we got the technology to do that.
I guess it'd be handy if you're speeding, you could switch it off. You run around the corner and switch it off, and then cops wouldn't know it was you. You'd
have to make it so you couldn't switch it off or change it. Because if your car is changing from the Monkey Mobile to the Batmobile, that might cause some accidents too, if the thing's changing. But I think with some, common sense safety features, I think this could save a lot of lives, because a lot of people are on motorcycles. They get hit by cars because they don't see them, because they're not big enough to see.
I met this guy once, and I was just blown away by this guy's intelligence. He didn't really graduate from high school. He really had trouble using any kind of math. But yet this guy somehow built a 1/4 scale diesel engine by studying his diesel engine in his vehicle.
Okay.
He built it. How can he build it without knowing mathematics?
I don't know.
He did.
That's cool.
He did. He's got this raw intelligence. He built this thing, and I'm like, you didn't build this. He says, yeah. You want to see it run? I was like, what? It runs? He built this quarter scale engine, and then he built a quarter scale transmission for it.
Wow.
this guy was an absolute genius. I
Wow.
was so blown away.
That's
I wanted to
crazy.
show everybody.
Yeah. That's
I
wild.
want everybody to see this guy.
That is
He
wild.
was like a simple country guy
Mm-hmm.
in Kentucky, from Kentucky, and he just built this thing because nobody said he couldn't. Basically,
Yeah. That's what you do. You just go ahead and do it.
he just did it because nobody told him he couldn't do it. You know,
Yeah.
it was extraordinary. I mean, there's raw talent out there like that. It's just like it blows your mind when you encounter it because you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it with my technical background,
Mm-hmm.
and here's this guy's doing it. You know, has really no mathematic ability at all.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
Very
You
carefully.
can say trial and error, but I can't imagine he built 1,000 of these engines before he got it right. I mean, come on. You know?
Yeah. Well,
So how did he get it right like that? You know,
I don't know. I don't know.
You know, it's as big a mirror, almost a big. To me, it's almost a big mystery as the Great Pyramid.
Yeah. I
How
was
did this guy do?
I was always baffled. I was impressed by my father's ability to fix anything that went wrong in the house or the car or anything.
Well,
And so he could do things. I don't know where he got all that knowledge to do all those things that he knew how to do.
maybe he was MacGyver.
But he used to say something, and my brother brought this up recently. We don't pay other people to do things we can do. So we don't pay other people to do things that we can do. So that was part of his philosophy there. I think it's a pretty smart one.
I somewhere on my computer, I don't think I can find it without looking extensively, but I found some papers describing how to create invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most people don't know this, but the properties that make things, whether things are visible or not, are surface phenomenon. The properties related to the atoms on the surface of something.
Uh-huh.
Like think about it. Aluminum foil is shiny and you can't see through it because of all the electrons on the surface of the metal. They're all moving around in kind of a random movements, and so they interact with all the light touching it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that interaction that makes it visible.
Mm.
Now, if you take, well, think about silicon. Silicon metal is very similar to aluminum metal, although it's a little bit duller.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a foil of silicon foil,
mm-hmm.
it looks more like dull aluminum foil.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you add oxygen to silicon, you get silicon dioxide, right, which is sand.
Okay.
Which if you melt it, it's clear glass, right?
Okay.
Well, so why is silicon with a little oxygen transparent, but silicon without the oxygen not? Well, it's because the silicon bonds with the oxygen organize the way electrons can move on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of tie it down in certain areas. That allows light to travel through other areas unimpeded.
Mm.
And therefore it's transparent. So anyway, these guys did some research and they showed that on almost any surface they could put this coating. It was alternating layers of, I want to say aluminum oxide. I think it was like, I want to say it was like 1 to 3 microns thick.
Okay.
And then on top of it, you'd have a layer of silver, like I can't remember, 7 microns thick.
Mm-hmm.
And they repeated that, and they showed that if you had 10 repeating layers of that, you got 93% optical transmission. Wow. Meaning 93% of the light would go through it.
Wow.
And then if you had something like 19 layers, you get 99.5% transmission of light through it.
Wow.
So they basically showed that you could, just by putting coatings on the surface of material, you could render it invisible.
Wow.
And so I thought that was fascinating because you could do that with, a car or something. And I thought, well, what happens if you put some kind of electrodes along embed electrodes instead of those layers? Could you somehow switch it on and off by putting a current through it or something?
Could be.
I didn't see where anybody had done that or not, but it was fascinating that, and so they've done a lot of research with that. So the idea that they can make things invisible right now doesn't shock me at all.
No. Wow.
It's definitely within the realm of our current science. I don't think they want to know. Obviously, they can do that, right?
Right.
It's one of those things we're not allowed to know, right?
Right.
Anyway.
Wow. So yeah, a lot of people, when they invent something, they'll keep it totally to themselves, and a lot of times they'll take it to the grave with them. But for an idea like that holographic projection from a motorcycle, that could help save lives. So I don't want to save that to make greedily make money. But if someone else has a way to do it, and cut me in for a little piece of it if you can.
I had a friend that came up with this idea. There were certain flies that were only attracted to dead bodies.
Oh.
And he found a way to give these flies a radioisotope. And so you could track this radiation from like a drone or whatever. So you could release these flies that had the radioisotopes in it. Say someone was missing or whatever, and they would the flies would go straight to any dead body.
Oh.
And so they could detect and find murder victims or whatever using drones. So it's a cool idea. I don't know
Interesting.
how well it would work, but it seems like it might work.
Yeah. Where'd that fly go? I was following him. I lost track of him.
Yeah. But the whole idea is create a big enough signal because all of them would be attracted to where the dead body was,
Wow.
Apparently there are certain flies that are only attracted to dead bodies.
Okay.
It seems kind of bizarre that that's the only thing they're attracted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think drone technology is been around for so long. I remember being shocked one night. Stayed up late and was watching Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, which came out in the 60s, and they're talking about all these drones. And I said, oh my God, that's disclosure. They've had drones way before in the 1960s.
Yeah.
And like a time tunnel. They had all kinds of cool things in there that are being disclosed that are known to be real today. It's like they were telling us, where these writers come from, What do they really know, There's lots.
I just posted a picture on the screen here. It's the moon towers, the famous moon towers. I believe this picture was taken by the Russians, and they actually showed their people. They didn't keep it secret. So there's towers on the moon, and this is one of the pictures, I believe.
These are the ones that miles tall or something?
I don't know. It's just a picture. That's the problem. It just says moon towers. But
there was one that was estimated, I can't remember. Huge number of miles, maybe 14 miles tall.
Yeah. I don't know how tall these are. There's nothing really to scale it with, but looks like there might be a vehicle back here, but I'm not sure. Something up here. You know what? Maybe I'll take that image and adjust the color. I wonder if that would adjust that color. Let's see. Oh yeah. Let's brighten it up a bit. We can see a little bit more. Yeah, there's several structures there, but they look like it could almost be organic. They don't really look super angular or anything. There's one tall one in the center that looks near the center. It looks pretty interesting.
I think in many ways it's all the secrecy surrounding the UFO subject that's actually helped allow the deep state to thrive and prosper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think about it, you got the greatest secret about our reality, right? That we're not alone in the universe. And they keep that bottled up as a secret. Well, we know it's when you have that level of secrecy, you know, it's easy for corruption to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the holders of those secrets keep it from people. They use it to gain power, and
Mm-hmm.
and they learn how to get people in government to give them money for projects, and
Mm-hmm.
the next thing you know, they're out there trying to take over countries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm a firm believer that while it's important to have some secrets as a country, we need a whole lot less of them.
Oh yeah.
And they need to be. It should be a rule that somebody in our government that are accountable to the people need to know that knowledge, and there has to be a certain degree of transparency.
Mm-hmm.
And we ought to be told, okay, we've got these projects that are super advanced propulsion methods. We can't tell you much about the methods, however, for national security reasons, but we do have extraordinary devices to protect our country. You know,
Yeah.
something as simple as that.
Yeah.
Would satisfy us to a degree, at least.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, well, they don't tell us anything, right?
Yeah. We need to be apprised of a lot more of what's
Right.
going on than we are being apprised of now. We're being we're supposed to be the power of the government is from the people.
Right.
It's not, we're not the pets of the government. We are the owners of the government. So it's backwards. Right. I think term limits need to be.
They don't control us, we control them.
Well, but they control us now through laws and regulations.
Of course, that's the problem. That's part of our bizarro world, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You know what, Max?
You getting tired?
I think we're gonna call it a night. Yeah, because it's getting late, and it's been a long show. And I want to thank everyone who is in the chat, everyone who shared it and liked it. Thank you so very much. Thanks to Max for calling in, and all the people who contributed in the chat. Thanks so much. Really appreciate all of you. And thank you.
Call in a little earlier.
And a double thanks to RatX for the 2 super chats that we got tonight. Keeps the lights on, keeps us coming back for more. Remember, we're coming back on Wednesday night, around 9 or 10 p.m. Central Time.
Hey, Aaron, I got one question quick, because you mentioned RatX.
Okay.
What was this thing we discovered the other day? That was another thing associated with 1972, remember?
Yeah, I sort of remember, but now I can't remember exactly what it is.
Okay.
But
there was something extraordinary and new that we discovered about 1972. And
I know, and I couldn't for the life of me remember.
Okay.
I couldn't remember it. I should have put it aside. You know, I wasn't thinking. I just wasn't thinking. But.
Well, we thought of RatX when we thought of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm putting some things into the chat here. The official Truth Quest merch store. These pop-ups, man. And also my PayPal. and Cash App. And one other thing I got to put into there, and that's my mail address and my email address, because I occasionally get things in the mail, and it's such a pleasure to get things in the mail. So there's my P.O. box and my email if anyone wants to get a hold of the program here. Well, friends, I'm leaving you here with that Skinny Bob shirt. I want to thank you all for coming. Keep looking up. Keep asking for disclosure. Call your representatives. Tell them you want to know this stuff. We paid for it. Let it loose. And tell YouTube to stop censoring the Truth Quest, because you can't censor the truth. The truth is going to come out sooner than later. So thank you very much, friends. We'll see you on Wednesday night, 9 or 10 Central, right around there. Thank you very much. Peace in.